A single mother gave her lunch to a hungry stranger. She had no idea he was a millionaire CEO. Emma had only $10 left in her wallet when she walked out of the small apartment she shared with her 8-year-old daughter, Lily. It was a cold Monday morning, and Emma was already thinking about how she would stretch the last of her money until payday. She worked as a receptionist at a small medical clinic, but after rent, electricity, groceries, and Lily's school expenses, there was rarely anything left. That morning, she had packed one lunch for herself: a turkey sandwich, an apple, and a bottle of water. She never imagined she would give it away. As Emma walked toward the bus stop, she noticed a man sitting alone on a bench near the train station. He looked exhausted. His coat was old, his shoes were worn, and his hands were trembling from the cold. Most people walked past him without even looking. Emma almost did too. Then she heard his stomach growl. She stopped. "Are you okay?" she asked. The man looked embarrassed. "I'm fine." Emma smiled gently. "You don't look fine." He lowered his eyes. "I haven't eaten since yesterday," he finally admitted. Emma looked at the lunch bag in her hand. She thought about Lily waiting for her after school. She thought about the $10 in her wallet. Then she opened the bag. "Here," she said, handing him the sandwich. The man stared at it. "No, I couldn't take your lunch." "You can," Emma replied. "I'll figure something out." He hesitated before accepting it. "Thank you," he whispered. Emma gave him the apple and water too. The stranger looked at her with tears in his eyes. "Why would you do this for me?" Emma shrugged. "Because being hungry is hard enough without feeling invisible." She smiled and walked toward the bus. She didn't know the man watched her disappear into the crowd, and she certainly didn't know who he was. His name was Daniel Carter. He was the founder and CEO of Carter Technologies, a company worth hundreds of millions of dollars. He had been one of the most successful businessmen in the city. But that morning, Daniel had deliberately left his luxury car behind and gone out alone. He wanted to clear his mind after discovering that several senior employees had been treating struggling customers unfairly. He had wanted to see the world without his title. Instead, the world had shown him something unexpected: kindness. That evening, Daniel couldn't stop thinking about Emma. He remembered her words. Being hungry is hard enough without feeling invisible. The next morning, he asked his assistant to find her. It took several days. Eventually, they discovered that Emma worked at a small medical clinic downtown. Daniel didn't immediately approach her. Instead, he visited the clinic as an ordinary patient. When Emma saw him sitting in the waiting room, she froze. "You," Daniel smiled. "Yes, it's me." Emma looked surprised. "You found me." "I had to," Daniel tooed, "because I owe you lunch." Emma laughed nervously. "It was just a sandwich." "No," Daniel said. "It wasn't." He told her who he really was. Emma's eyes widened. "You're Daniel Carter?" "Yes." "The CEO?" He nodded. Emma stepped back. "I didn't know." "I know." She shook her head. "If I had known, I probably would have been too nervous to talk to you." Daniel smiled. "That is exactly why I didn't tell you." Then he offered her a job at Carter Technologies. Emma immediately refused. "I don't want charity," Daniel replied. "Neither do I." He explained that his company needed someone to manage a new employee support program designed to help workers facing financial difficulties. "I watched you give away the only meal you had," he said. "I think you understand people better than anyone I've hired." Emma accepted the position, but only after making him promise that she would earn every dollar. Months passed. Emma's life changed dramatically. She earned a better salary, moved Lily into a safer apartment, and was finally able to stop worrying about whether there would be enough food in the refrigerator. But she never forgot the stranger on the bench. One afternoon, Daniel invited Emma to his office. On his desk was a framed photograph. It showed the bench where they had first met. Emma stared at it. "Why do you have that?" Daniel smiled. "Because that was the day I learned something money could never teach me." "What?" "That a person can have almost nothing and still have something priceless to give." Emma's eyes filled with tears. Daniel continued. "You gave me your lunch when you had every reason to keep it." Emma smiled. "I didn't think about it." "That," Daniel said, "is what made it special." Years later, Carter Technologies became known for its employee food program, emergency assistance fund, and community outreach projects. And every year, Daniel quietly donated millions to food banks across the country. But he always remembered where the idea began. With one sandwich, one apple, one bottle of water, and one single mother who had no idea that the hungry stranger sitting on a bench was actually a millionaire CEO. Emma thought she had simply helped a hungry man for one morning. She never realized that her small act of kindness would change not only his life, but thousands of others. And Daniel never forgot the woman who reminded him that true wealth isn't measured by what you have, but by what you're